The reason 95% of mountain bikers don't progress is because their wheels are glued to the ground. Well, the only time their wheels get airborne is when it's involuntary. So I devised a test to see if somebody who hasn't ridden their mountain bike in over a year could pass it in less than 60 minutes. Ooh. Because everything falls apart if you can't get over obstacles on the trail. And this limits your progression and learning for all the fun stuff that mountain biking has to offer. Sadly, by the end of this video, you're going to realize that the reason that your progression has been so static is because you've only been focusing on this part of your riding.
Some big climbs on the menu, including the highest point of the Tour de France.
And I'm afraid being strong in one area of your mountain biking is pretty useless if all you can do is go uphill really fast and not get over anything on the trail. But luckily, you're going to learn the 6-step system to fix this, like this guy. But before we get onto that, let's get into the biggest problem you have right now and the 5th part of this system, dedicating time to practice.
So unbeknown to Mark, I've taught a bunch of people really quickly on how to improve their mountain bike skills. So I devised a plan.
So we're going to start by dedicating time to practice and see how fast we can actually get him to improve. No fancy get quick fast scheme or silly life hack, just plain old hard work. Because most people never really set aside time to practice and refine their skills. Instead, most people just end up riding for hours on end to try and appease the Strava gods. I was thinking back to when I was learning how to ride mountain bikes, and when all peak technology could offer was snake on your Nokia 3310. So I'd gotten my first mountain bike, but I was too young to drive. And this left limited riding options. So, being the resilient young man that I was, I ended up asking my mother for a spade. I would disappear for hours on end after school every day, and while I didn't quite realize it at the time, I was spending a lot of time at the local dirt jumps. Building, riding, crashing, building more, crashing more. But what I didn't quite realize at the time is that I spent a lot of time doing the same thing over and over again. And it is one of the reasons that I improved my mountain biking. Because I dedicated time to improving at the skill that I wanted to get better at. So Mark and I dedicated an hour of our day to see if we could practice using all the steps and if he could pass the test. And we ran into our first problem straight out the gate because I realized that Mark hasn't ridden a mountain bike in over a year. Lucky for me, this meant suggesting that he used flat pedals to inspire more confidence, and this worked in my favor because this led us straight into step 1. We're starting Mark on clipless pedals just to show what most people are going through, and then we're going to hop him over to flats later for a good contrast. Mark, you ready? Let's go! Run, Forrest! B-roll of Mark changing shoes. Oh no! Look at him go! Do whatever you need to do to see how you do it. Learning to ride your mountain bike with flat pedals offers a better foundation to your riding. And if you can learn skills with flat pedals, you can apply it to your clipless later. Most mountain bikers have heard this countless times before, but just use your clips and you can pull your wheels off the ground. In my opinion, learning to ride with flat pedals is fundamental to learning good bike control with your feet. And no, I'm not bashing clipless pedals. I just think it's a good learning curve to learn on flat pedals first and then add your clipless pedals later. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. So we took a step back, threw the flat pedals on, and alongside watching Mark stress about his lack of shin pads, we changed shoes and soldiered on to the next section. Armed with flat pedals and only 45 minutes left, it's time to start practicing. So me on the e-bike and Mark on the naturally aspirated dinosaur, let's go! And we're starting with the front wheel lift. So there's 2 options to get it up, 3 if you count Viagra. So option 1 is the easiest of the 2. All you're going to do is drop your chest down, compress your body into the suspension, and use the rebound of your fork to pick that front wheel up. Easy stuff. Ready? Okay, so option 1. So Mark has got a bunch of riding experience from his past, and he's picking this up pretty quick again, so not too much hard work for him. So far so good, but I've noticed we'd had another problem looming, so we had to jump forward to step 3 quickly before we'll hop back into the second part of the technique. So all the technique in the world doesn't really matter if you have bad timing. As an example, you gotta give me a head. So if Mark throws a stick at me like he's just explained and I don't move, that's an example of bad timing. Or if I get stuck 5 hours away from home on my e-bike, bad timing. But if I manage to get the timing right on the technique, I'm going to save myself money on hospital bills and bike parts. So you see where I'm going with this? In order to practice good timing, what you want to do is find yourself a trail side buddy, something you can lay down on the trail and practice your timing. Ideally, what you're looking for is to have your wheel at its highest point above the obstacle. And this is going to make sure that you don't drop the front wheel into something on the trail. Mark, we've only got 30 minutes left on the test. How are the stress levels feeling?
Ask me that.
You feeling ready?
No.
Okay, well let's get back into the second part of the technique then. I think the stress levels are getting to him a little bit. Okay, so let's dive back into technique and let me show you the second option. Ideally, what you want to do, drop your chest down, shift your weight back and pull with straight arms to get your front wheel up over the obstacle. This leverages your weight to help get the front wheel up. Combine this with your timing and you're starting to see real results. Very nice. This technique leverages and helps get you the front wheel up over the obstacle by using your body weight. And combine this with your timing. Oh, what happened? You okay? Oh no. What did you do?
Oh, it's a little shin strike yet.
Oh. Any mountain biker knows the feeling of catching a flat pedal to the shin. With only one leg left, we still have the hard part of the challenge ahead of us. And that was teaching you how to lift the rear wheel. But because the front wheel is the easier of the two to lift, we have to fast forward this video a little bit.
Fast forward montage!
And as with learning to swim, you don't dive in the deep end of a pool and hope that you float. First, you dip your toes. And then you go for lessons. And then you can look like this guy getting wrecked on a shore break. Or you could become a triathlete. Up to you. But the point is, the same way we did the front wheel lift, that progression is key with mountain biking. And this brings us to point 4. Start small and work your way up. If I had to make Mark do something that was a little bit too big, I might smash his confidence to pieces. So now it's time to show Mark exactly how to lift the rear wheel and become reacquainted with his good friend stick. Okay Mark, how are you feeling about you and your good friend stick?
We're well acquainted.
I reckon he's going to smash this. So for the rear wheel lift technique, what you want to do, the first thing is make sure that you're standing, and then we're going to compress our body down like a spring, preloaded, ready to unload. Now we want to uncompress and use that momentum by shooting your momentum and your body weight forward. As you shoot it forward, you're going to tilt your toes forward and sweep the back of the bike up underneath you. And then what we're going to do is to bring this whole technique together, you're going to have a look right here at that subscribe button. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and hit that, and if you love mountain biking and are enjoying this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And then once you're done looking over there, you're actually going to look over here for the last piece of this technique. What you're going to do is roll your wrists forward, push the bars forward. This is going to create friction into your pedals as you're tilting your toes, and it's going to help you get that rear wheel up. Okay, so Mark has officially had his lesson. This is him attempting for the first time. Okay, so clock is still ticking down and this man is looking ready. Confidence is high at the moment. And as a side note, there's also a little hack to get your back wheel up. All you gotta do is once your front wheel's over, hit that back brake for a second and it'll pop it up and over. But for the sake of the test, Mark has to use all the techniques I showed him. He can't use the back brake hack. Oh, Mark, I think you know what that means. Your time is up, mate. It's time for the test.
Not stoked.
So Mark and I are on our way to test location. He doesn't know where we're going, but stay tuned. Okay, so bearing in mind that the last time you rode a mountain bike was when, Mark?
Over a year ago.
And with exactly 1 hour's worth of practice, it is time for him to tackle the test. The test. I've come up with 2 real-world situations that Mark is going to have to tackle that both have their own unique challenges. Well, this log that you're sitting on right now, it's a downhill trail that you're gonna go uphill. Oh no. Hoi! Nice, dude.
I clapped the frame there.
Nice. Okay.
Another one?
Try another one. You got this, Mark. You got this. Oh, oh. Woo. So Mark has smashed it on his 4th try, which is pretty damn rad. And now we're off to the second half of the test. And something that 95% of mountain bikers struggle with is curbs. To add a bit of a twist, Mark is going to have to do the Shimmy Shimmy 5000 to really challenge his skills. First try. I absolutely greased that on his first try. 1 hour's practice, people, 1 hour's practice. And there was a reason for Mark's success. Looking at the gleaming confidence in his ability, confidence is one of the silver bullets in any mountain biker's arsenal, but it doesn't come without hard work. So, let me elaborate. 95% of the people that I've dealt with spend all their time getting super fit and strong, but end up neglecting how to get their wheels off the ground. So how do you expect to have any confidence on the bike if you only end up putting 5% of your effort into honing your skills? So if you're thinking, well, I'm riding the same amount of time as everyone else, but I'm not progressing, maybe you just discovered why. So putting 5% of your time and energy into your skills isn't going to feel like much progression, but putting 95% of your time into your riding and spending time outdoors on your bike, you're going to be pretty damn fit. So ideally, you want to be adding time and energy to your skills cup so that you're not just doing all the kilometers ever. So now, your skills cup will look a lot more similar to Mark's, where dedicated time and focused practice will result in improved confidence. So allow yourself to put energy into other areas of your riding that will get the results that you want, and I guarantee it'll pay off. So with your skills cup full to this point, you now know all the things involved in getting your wheels off the ground, but that still doesn't quite answer this question. Make sure you watch this video right here to see how I got Praise, who's a brand new mountain biker, to pass a bunnyhop test in 2 hours and 27 minutes using the 4-step process.
And it worked.
Legend.